Fractal has become a synonym for quality, especially with its defined series of cases, but today we have something different from Fractal, a step in a completely different direction. This is the Torrent case. And I like that this new case is not another Define, although I love the Define series. But we needed something completely fresh from Fractal, and that's exactly what we got, so stay tuned and let's unbox this beast. So let's see what makes this case great, what makes it better than the Define series. I'll do a build in it as well to show you if there are any downsides or difficulties while building in it, and also there will be tests to see the thermals. But first the unboxing. Oh man, this case comes in a super large box, and in there is of course the user's manual, but with something new with it. You see, there is a guide for GPU sag bracket, and we'll talk about this down the road. We have the accessories box. It contains all of the necessary screws and the mentioned GPU sag bracket as well. And here is the case as well. I got the white variant with a clear side panel. There are also options for black with tinted side panel, gunmetal gray which has tinted panels on both sides, and the thing is that black and gray one comes with ARGB fans in the front, whereas the white one here does not, but we will fix that of course. Side panel removal is completely toolless. There is this little tab in the back, pull it and the side panel will easily pop out because it's being held by a peg system as it was on the Define series as well. But with the panel removed, you can notice that the interior layout is not your average one. There is no bottom PSU chamber, and that is because the PSU is now moved on top of the case in the separate top PSU chamber. Instead of the bottom chamber, we now have 140mm fans, 3 of them pre-installed, dynamic X2GP-14 models in the white case, and Prisma AL14 if you decide to get the black one. And you can also notice the new front grille, which is absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. The design is fresh, it looks cool, and it is completely open for better airflow. There is now a Fractal badge in the front opposed to the Define series where we had only a subtle Fractal logo on front door. Front panel removal is so easy. It comes loose at the top and you just remove it so easily. As usual, the front panel comes with a removable dust filter which can be also washed. Here you can notice that by removing the front panel we gain access to the bottom filter as well, which spans across the whole case length, and a nice thing is that it's removable here in the front, which makes cleaning 10 times easier. Top of the case is now closed and it's plastic, and on a white model this plastic is texturized, not just a plain smooth one. Nice touch by the way. Front I/O panel has received an overhaul, so we now have a centered power button which feels so nice when pressed. The power logo on it is illuminated and there is no light spill in the dark. On the left there are mic and headphone jacks, followed by 2 USB 3.0 ports, 1 USB Type-C port and a reset button. To be honest, this is plenty enough for everyone and the addition of Type-C is awesome. But let's focus on the interior first. It's kind of unusual for today's standards. First, the PSU is on top, we have fans on the bottom, but we also have 2 huge front fans, which are Fractal's latest 180mm fans labeled Dynamic X2GP18 for the white case, and with black cases this will be the Prisma AL18 model. So not your standard size fans. The motherboard tray supports all major motherboard sizes and even the EA80X, but if EA80X is used, cable cutouts will be blocked, so this is something to keep in mind. Regarding the cutouts, standard stuff expected from Fractal, each cutout is in the correct place. Big ones have rubber grommets for easy cable hiding, and we also have cutouts for mounting reservoirs for custom liquid cooling. There are even fill port holes on top of the case as well, so this is not just an air-oriented case, you have options when it comes to cooling choice. You can notice that it did not come with a rear fan, but I highly recommend you adding one as it will help the airflow. Fan support in the back is 120 or 140mm. You also saw that bottom fan support is either 3x120 or 3x140, and it has a rail system for easy installation. But as you can see, the rail system also supports 180mm fan size, and in that case you can use 2 of them in the bottom. Also interesting fun fact, none of the fans come connected. But again, a slight remark here, as these fans are a bit larger, they will block all bottom holes for the cable management, so I am advising you not to mount 180mm fans here. I have tried though, but it did not yield better results than the 3 140mm fans. In the front there is a place for two 180mm fans, which the case comes with pre-installed. Stock fans are not RGB, but Fractal did send me additional fans, so I will change these for sure. Also in the front there is a support for three 120mm or three 140mm fans, as in the box you will also get a rail mounting system which can be swapped with the original one, thus giving you an option to use smaller fans. This also opens up possibilities for water cooling, providing this case the support for up to 420mm radiators to be used in the front and also in the bottom, so if you decide to go custom water cooling there are a lot of options in this case. So this is where things become kind of strange, so let's look behind the motherboard. As the PSU is mounted up top, cable management might be an issue here. It's not hard, but we all got used to the bottom PSU chamber and our cable management game needs a new strategy now. Anyhow, Fractal has included a ton of zip tie points, also plenty of velcro straps everywhere for a cleaner cable management. Down in the left corner there is a new Nexus Slim fan hub, and this is a revised version as the original one had an issue and could catch fire. Fractal pulled the case from the market for 2 months just to fix this issue. This fan hub supports 4-pin PWM fans, also 3-pin fans as well. It has support for 9 fans in total. The first connector on the right is the one from which the speed readout will be used, and we also have 2 cables, one that connects to the motherboard's PWM fan header for the speed control and the other one which is a SATA power connector. On the back side you can also mount 4 2.5-inch SSD or HDD drives. There are 4 caddies closer to the front of the case, they all use captive thumb screws, so installation is pretty easy. Right under the motherboard we have 2 more caddies for 3.5-inch hard drives. And here is where the PSU goes. Top covers slides off on the back side, and when removed you have access to the upper PSU chamber, and here is where we also have an included RGB LED strip. You can also see better now the already mentioned fill port holes if you want to go with custom water cooling. If you look at the back side you can see that there is no vertical GPU mounting, although it is possible with adapters as PCIe brackets are completely removable, revealing a big large hole, so adapters can be used here. Fan support on the back is either 120 or 140mm fans, but with fixed holes, so no rail system like on the Define series. Also on the left side we have velcro straps to secure the PSU cable, which needs to go all up to the top of the case now. I like the overall design of the case with new angular edges. It's a step in a nice direction for Fractal, and the inclusion of the bigger fans in the front gives this case a slight edge when it comes to the cooling. Dimensions of the case itself are 544 in length, 242mm wide and 530mm tall. Being this wide, it can accept large CPU coolers such as Noctua D15, and the clearance for the CPU cooler is an amazing 188mm. So the D15, even with the fans sticking out if you have taller RAM sticks, will not be an issue. Maximum GPU support is 423mm with the front 180mm fans installed and up to 461mm if removed. So putting in monster hardware in this case will not be an issue at all. Building in it is super easy, as with all Fractal cases. The included GPU sag bracket is easily mounted on the rails, which can be also used to mount reservoirs. And this little thing prevents your GPU from sagging down. Nice touch by Fractal, although I wish that this was a bit thicker and sturdier, as this easily bends under the weight of a bigger GPU. You might run into issues while cable managing this case, so take your time and plan your cable routes carefully. And here is the completed build. I went with Noctua NHU12A Chromax Air CPU cooler because this case has an excellent airflow, putting it amongst top performing cases. Take a look at the graphs to see how it performs. I went to lengths testing the cooling performance and I was puzzled several times with some of the results. I also consulted Laurie from TechNotice channel about his results, and pretty much we got the same temperatures. So shout out for TechNotice for being such a cool guy and sharing the info. But I also changed bottom fans for Noctua NF14A Chromax models, so take a look how it performs with various fan configs and also AIO versus air cooling as well. Tested with Noctua D15 Chromax, U12A Chromax and Castle 360EX and 280EX from Deepcool. Tests were done with Ryzen 9 3900X and also with a bit hotter 5900X. Take a look for yourself. So in the end, the stock fan config turns out to be the best one. So 2 fans in the front and 3 fans on the bottom with an addition of 1 fan in the back gave me the best possible results. The temperatures were by the readings higher than in my Define 7 case, but everything was cold to the touch. While on the Define 7 I had literally hot air gushing on top and temps were reported lower, so that got me puzzled. But you know what the old saying says, trust your hand, not the numbers. One thing to note, if you're coming from the Define series, this case will be a bit louder as the front panel is open now and there is no sound dampening foam on the panels. But on the other hand, this slight increase in sound compared to a better cooling, the Torrent takes a huge win here. So bottom line, I love this case. For me personally, better airflow is a must, not only during gaming but also during heavy workloads such as video rendering. Large front fans give this case plenty of fresh air, so your precious components will be more than properly handled. I was a bit concerned about the top PSU placement, that it might get hot, but that was not the issue at all. Holes on the back of the case contributes to better air exhaust as well as adding an additional rear fan. Also, the new look of the Torrent case makes it even more exciting. It's different and in a good way. Retailing price is $230 for non-RGB models and $250 for RGB ones. A bit steep price, but totally worth it as this is one well-built case and a top performer when it comes to cooling. As usual, huge thanks goes to you guys for watching the video, huge thanks goes to Fractal for sending this case, and you know the drill by now, sub to the channel, like the video, share the video, and I'll see you in the next one.